Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Think there's any connection?
No.
No.
When you were writing this, at what point did you go from making this like a war movie, an action movie, to bringing Starro in? At what point did you say Starro has to be the final boss of this movie?
Pretty early. Actually, that was all at the same time. I considered other antagonists, but when I came upon kind of Starro and the whole Corto Maltese mythology all sort of came at pretty much the same time. I knew, I think pretty much from the beginning what they were hiding and what was going on in that laboratory.
With the soundtrack, what was the first song that you knew you had to put in here?
Oh, that's interesting. It was either Folsom Prison Blues, which of course is at the very beginning of the movie, or it was the Pixies' Hey, which I've wanted to use forever. And, would have loved to, like I had thought before, that'd be great in a Guardians movie, but there's all the horrors talk and all the stuff, so you can't really use it in a Guardians movie. But I love that song. So, I love a good slow walk. And what better thing to slow walk to than the Pixies' Hey?
You two share a lot of screen time, but you also have the most punishing physical scene together towards the end of the movie. What was it like filming that? How long did it take to get that together?
Yeah, I was so surprised. John's been wrestling professionally his whole career, and who would have thought that he was this good at fake fighting? No one could have ever guessed. I've been throwing that line out all day.
Works every time.
It was a great. We had a great time with it. It's like it becomes like this little capsule project on a movie when you go out and do a fight scene. And so me and John worked with our fantastic stunt team for a couple of weeks, and it was really fun working with John on that. He was such a professional, like no ego involved, just really making sure that everything gets done right and no one gets hurt, and then just like it was an inspiring collaboration.
I certainly agree with Joel, and I think the one thing about it that was so special is it wasn't just confrontation for the sake of confrontation. When people see the Suicide Squad, they'll understand the stakes and certainly the emotion involved in it. And I was very happy with the way it came out in those regards.
Me too. I thought it became like you want a fight to be a story, that you want it to be a struggle for life and death. I mean, anyone that has been in a real fight knows how like time just completely compresses and you just 1 second can feel like 2 minutes, and I've never been in a life and death situation like that, but I can just imagine all the little interactions and all the things that are being said to one another, and I thought it was really. I didn't think that we were going to get that much story out of that fight scene as we did.
I find that when you're shooting these long fight scenes, you just don't want repetitive stuff. The fight in itself has to be a story. And you see a lot of movies, and action movies I love, but it's still guys running around a corner shooting 3 people. They come around another corner shooting another 3 people. And it's like, how long can that go on and be, have a rising and falling of what the story is of the action itself? And it was our requirement that all of the action needed to be part of the storytelling. But that fight in particular was brutal. It's a very sad fight because, those characters were very happy with each other and probably having the time of their lives just, 2 hours earlier.
There was plenty of lead up with the two of you throughout the movie. Like, there's so much going on between these characters. John, you're playing a new character. Joel, Rick is almost a new character in this movie with these new sides that you're showing. How did you guys kind of build up to everything? How did you relate to each other on set? It seems like there was a lot of fun interplay between you.
Like everyone was having so much fun with each other. I was so impressed by John the first few days. Just the bizarre, perverted things that came out of his mouth in that Peacemaker costume. Like his ad libs were just out of control, and just really, really professional at the same time. It was like James created this vibe on set that was incredible. It really felt magic to step on set. I mean, the sets themselves were so incredible. The builds were massive. I was told that it's the biggest builds that Warner Brothers has ever made in the history of that studio. So that says a lot. And so it was just this playground that we got to enter every day, and you know, everyone's on top of their game and doing their best work. So super fun.
I'd agree with Joel. I think the environment says a lot about how we crafted our characters, and certainly that comes from the top. And James set an environment where it was very practical, like with the large set pieces, and we were able to take some risks.
And did you two ever settle who would win in an actual fight between the two of you? Like,
oh, come on. I'd be like the Russian doll version of John, you know? It's I could hide behind his bicep.
I haven't.
There's a vein on John's left bicep that is bigger than my actual bicep.
I haven't had a fight in 20 years. I think I would like fake punch someone in the face and expect them to react to it.
You know, when you were deciding on everything here, what were kind of your parameters for what works within the DC, like, you know, the DC universe that you're building for this movie? You know, was there anything that was off the table? Was there anything that you said, look, I have to do this, but they wouldn't let you? Like, what was that like?
There's nothing ever that they said that I could not do, you know, which, you know, create a lot of freedom. I mean, there's lots of things I kept myself from doing. You know, there was lots of things, you know, John Cena does a lot of, you know, improv at the end of scenes where he gets so filthy that it's hilarious to me, but it's too much for even R-rated, almost NC-17 rated movie. I pull back because I'm just trying to tell the best story, but the rule for Suicide Squad was there are no rules as long as it's entertaining or fun or leads to deeper emotions. Those are the only things that matter. Everything has to serve the story. And if it doesn't serve the story and it takes you outside of the story, then I chopped it away.